Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday, y'all. Happy Thursday, and welcome to another episode of Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. I'm Nicole Roberts Jones, affectionately known as a Bankroll Your Brains expert, and I'm excited to be here every week to highlight people that are really bankrolling their brilliance. But really, we talk about one of three areas as we come in every week. So, one is, what is your brilliance, your purpose, the one thing that God has created you to do or be in this world? The second is the value tied to it. And then the third is, how do you make multiple streams of income from it? So I'm beyond excited about today's conversation as we're going to dig into the value tied to it. And I have a phenomenal guest. But before I start, those of you that are here every week, you know how I am. You know, my grandmother always says, don't come into this house and not speak. So I want you to say hello. So as you see me looking to the side, you see I'm looking for comments. Hi, Renata. Hey, girl. I love when I see my clients. Welcome, welcome. So she's setting away in Brooklyn. So come on in, say hello, number one. Number two, as my guest for today shares, if she says anything that resonates with you, I want you to give her some heart emojis, some fire emojis. I want you to let her know she's saying things that are of value to you. The second is, if you have questions, I want you to ask them live. I'll be checking them and I'll make sure I ask them for you. And then anything in between, I want to hear or see, because we can't hear you, but we can see your comments. So with that, let me introduce our guest, because I'll keep talking, and we want to make sure she can share all she can in this time, right? So buckle your seatbelt, get ready, get a pen, get a paper, because I know she's going in. So let me introduce to you Sonia Jackson Myles. So Sonia has over 20 years of experience managing $20 billion in corporate America. Y'all heard me? 20 billion. And yes, she's a Black woman. Y'all ready? Working for top Fortune 500 companies such as Ford Motor Company, the Gillette Company, and Procter and Gamble. Now, that would be enough, but then she had the nerve to step out and start her own thing. So she listened in her Wall Procter and Gamble. I forgot to say this. She was responsible for $6 billion, right? So I can go on and on about her corporate career, but listen, she's also the founder and president and CEO of the Accord Group and the Sister Accord. Her global movement, titled the Sister Accord, has three areas of focus: educating girls and women, enlightening girls and women of the power of sisterhood, and eradicating bullying and violence against girls and women. And by the way, fellas, just because you hear me keep saying women, don't think this conversation does not apply to you. She is on a mission to have 1 billion girls and women learn how to love themselves and each other. Now, if that wasn't enough, she's the author, right, of the Sister Court, 51 Ways to Love Your Sister, which was nominated for a 2013 Image Award, NAACP Image Award, that is. Her second book, 51 Ways to Love Your Children, focuses on building strong families via loving relationships. Now, she's a member of Phi Psi Omega of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and yes, she's my sorority sister. And she is also a member of Link, so that means she's my double link sister, my double sister. She's my sorority sister and my link sister. She's also married with two sons. So let's put our hands together and welcome Miss Sonia to Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. Hey, girl.
Hey, sister. Thank you so much for having me.
So excited. Listen, you guys, I always have to contain my excitement, because let me just tell you, I always go out and reach out to what I would say my girlfriends in the movement. All of us are doing things in the world and making a change. And when I ask them, I haven't seen some of them in a while. And Sonia, you're one of them. So I'm so excited to have you here. So let's jump right in and explain. And again, fellas, just because we say the word sister, you have a mother, you have an aunt, you have a whatever woman you have in your life, a daughter. Don't think this does not pertain to you. So
That's
tell us
right.
what you mean by, or what is the Sister Accord?
The Sister Accord is a mindset shift because you have to think
Mm,
about how we are socialized as little girls. We're
mm,
socialized to not like each other. Remember
right.
that? I'm taking my ball and I'm going over here.
Mhm.
We're
Yep.
socialized to compete with each other. And so, what happens, sister, is this: we're in pre K, it's never addressed. We're in elementary school, it's never addressed.
Right.
We get to middle school, it's never addressed. We get to high school, it's never addressed. We
Yeah.
get to college, it's never addressed. We get to the world of work, and it's exacerbated because we've been
Hmm.
carrying all of this stuff all of this time. So, this mindset shift says this: I love myself. I do the work to make sure that I am doing what I need to do to live my best life. And then I
Mm,
see you as an extension of myself. And that is the simple way to describe the Sister Accord and this mission of getting to 1 billion girls and women learning how to love themselves and each other.
That's so good and it's so needed. And when as I always hear you talk about this, and the thing that I love about it the most is, we only become who we learn, like you just said. And so even when people put things on us, so like, me
Right.
being from South Central LA. So those of you that seen Boys in the Hood, you pretty much saw my neighborhood. Me being
Mm.
the only light skinned person in my neighborhood for some time, I used to be called white girl. Now I'm gonna keep
Oh,
it all
yeah.
the way real. So over
Keep it real,
time,
sister. Keep it real.
right. And so over time, white girl just meant to me not being enough, and how
Yeah,
it grew more and more. And I love how you just said levels, right? Just like we matriculate
that's
through
right.
the school system, we also matriculate through our self-esteem system, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah,
So me
that's
not
right.
being white, I mean, excuse me, me not being black enough, as if there's a
Yeah,
definition of being black in a dictionary. Anyway, that's a whole nother episode, right?
that's a
Then
whole nother episode. But invite me.
right. Okay. So then that becomes just not being enough. So that equaled the men I dated, the career I went
That's
into initially, just everything. It just defines
right.
everything you be. Such a
Everything.
needed conversation. And I want Lori, look, Lori said, the Sister Accord is a whole vibe. Every woman needs to experience this movement. Yes, Lori.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Thank you,
And,
Lori. I love
and,
you.
and
Yeah,
it really teaches us to shift our mindset around sisterhood. What's interesting
that's right.
is the number of women that I meet that say I don't get along with women. And
Yep.
then they just leave it at that. They don't even try. And
Yep.
then it could have been one bad experience and it could have been one moment in time, but then you define everybody by that one bad experience.
That's right. That's right. And so everyone else gets the hate. Everyone else gets, the disloyalty. And I'm
Yeah.
just saying, sisters, if you want to go to another level of living, if you get this principle of what I'm talking about, it changes the trajectory of your whole life.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. And
literally does.
and not just your life, but the life of your children and your children's children
That's
and your
right.
neighbors. And it extends into the village. What's that saying? It takes a village. So this
Yes.
becomes the whole village and it
Right.
shifts
That's
everything.
right.
And I love it
That's
because there's no competition, right?
that's right.
We could be good at the same thing, but the way I do it and the way you do it is totally different because God didn't use a cookie cutter when He created us. So none of us are going to do the same thing the same way.
That's
So
right. And
good.
what God has for you, He has for you. Listen, sisters and brothers who are with us today, there is nothing, I want you to hear me clearly.
Hmm.
There is nothing that anyone can do for you. See, we give our power away to all these other folks and we think that they're in control. No, what God has for you, He has for you. And if you would just do the work, if you
Yeah.
will sit still and listen to what He is asking you to do and walk in that, ask
Yeah.
your steps to be ordered, amazing things will happen.
Mm. As you were sharing that, what came into my mind is
Oh,
something
yeah.
I say to my clients all the time: Who has your remote, right? Because, like you said, you give other people your control. And it's
That's,
interesting when we stop long enough. I was having this conversation with my girlfriend the other day, and her daughter, y'all that have teenagers, and Sonia, you've been through it. So,
you know,
so, so, so she said she made her so mad she threw her phone at her, and I said, "So wait a minute." And then I know she like lost it because all our kids do is mirror our behavior. So if we lose it, then they're gonna lose it, right?
that's
And so I said, what would have happened if you would have taken a breath?
that's
And then,
right. That's right.
because what happens is, and the reason I'm saying this is because she gave her daughter her remote. So the way
Yes,
it reacted to that moment was defined by her daughter and not by
right.
her choice. So when you
That's
take a
right.
breath, and listen, I grew up in an abusive household, so let me keep it all the way real. So I
Yes,
have rage first, and so did my friends. So I
yes,
think
sister.
I've had to learn to do this. My reaction is always rage first,
Yes,
not by
yes,
choice. That's what I grew up in. So for
yes.
me, if I'm going to make a different choice, I have to stop, think about what I'm feeling, and then choose: do I want to do that or do I want to do something different? And so I'm
That's right.
sharing this now because that's what the Sister of Court movement is all about. Do you
That's right.
stay where you are or do you up level how you interact with
That's right.
everyone?
That's
Look,
right. And
we
I call
need
it
to
the
be,
power of the pause.
oh,
That what you just said
yeah.
is so powerful, sister. I just had a call with earlier today, and we were talking about domestic violence and the rates that are skyrocketing right now,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
what happens when we grow up and we see, violence in the household. What happens to us, and what we need to do and think about as we look at the systems that
Right.
control what happens today. And what you just said is so powerful. Let's own our stuff. Okay.
Yep.
So in sister court, we own our stuff because none of us are perfect. Okay.
Yep.
But then what do we need to do to go to that next level of excellence? That's what we focus on, not each other. We're not looking to
Mm-hmm.
the left or right, because comparison is the enemy of joy. It will steal your joy every single time you start
Yeah.
comparing yourself to someone. So
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you for
I love it.
sharing that, because
I'm
that is
listening to you
so
and I'm looking at it. Stephen is going in over here. To my male should never be in full charge of the destiny of mothers and children. Say la vie, blame yourself. Here's the thing about it. And I love that you're bringing this up, Stephen, because I know we're talking about sisterhood of court, but I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna dare say it. And I hate when women say all men are dogs. That's not true. I hate when all women say all men cheat. That's not true. I hate
no,
when men say all. I hate when people call men sperm donors. Okay, so that what you listen. I always say words are like seeds you water. So that's what you
yes,
want to come in your life. Then claim it. Go ahead. But if I'm going to claim that what I want, then I need to pour into that person because again, even if
that's
that
right.
person is acting like a sperm donor for the moment, right? Let's say that. That's
Yeah,
because maybe that's the experience they had. So if
that's
we're going to
right.
shift it, we got to shift even how we interact with them.
That's right. That's it. I mean, that's
Hmm.
a whole that's it. Like, put the exclamation point on it, and let's get to a place where we stop judging and we just say,
Yeah.
"Hey, let's meet each other." Now, I'm not going to let you keep misusing and abusing me. That's not what I'm talking about, okay?
Mm-mm.
But getting to a place where we are open enough to say what's really going on here, and that's why the pause is so important. What's really
Yeah.
going on here, and what do I need to do? What's my role in this, and
Right.
how do we move to that next level of excellence together?
So good. Now y'all heard that next level of excellence. So here's the thing, and I'm going to say this. I'm going off on tangent, right? But it's so good. So when we are successful, let's say we're successful in our career, but we're
Yeah,
not successful at home,
yeah,
or vice versa. Okay.
yeah.
So we settle. And what I mean by that is you could have the resume, the bio, the corner office, the title, but God's not done with you yet. Because if he was done, we would have been at your funeral.
That's right.
So there's
That's
always
right.
another level for you to aspire to work toward. And if I hope if nothing you get out of this conversation today, she has a gift for you. So we're gonna give that to you. But is that what's your next level? Sister, brother, cousin, mother, aunt, uncle, friend.
Yeah,
What's your next level? What's
yeah,
the thing you can do to really expand on the conversation of the sister accord or the brother accord? The nerve I say,
yeah.
but it's right.
Yes, and we have the Brother Accord. Yes, we just haven't launched it yet. So you see
Yes,
how
yeah,
you
I'm
just speaking things. You're just speaking things
gonna
into existence, sister.
It's so needed. It's so needed. It's so needed. And girl, look, you can have a whole chicken soup for the soul series because you can have a family
You know,
accord. We can go off on a
every.
tangent.
That's
Uh,
right. That's
it's
right.
so needed, y'all. So needed. So listen, why do you believe that your organization is growing in the midst of a global pandemic?
Listen, do you want me to just lay out on the floor and just roll, and do some snow angels? I mean, every time I think about what's happening for the Sister
Yeah.
Accord in the midst of all of this darkness, it my heart smiles. And
Hmm.
we launched on August 28th. We launched our first chapter in Africa, sister. We're in Zimbabwe.
Oh, that's so
And
good.
Harare, Zimbabwe. We launched we had a tea party. And what I have learned, and this is what I say to all dream walkers and people who I coach in my executive coaching program, when you tap into a universal truth like
Yeah.
we have, that's what's happened with the Sister Court. It's a
Mhm.
universal truth, no matter what your color is, your economic status, background, race, religion, whatever.
Yeah.
It is a universal truth in terms of how girls are raised and reared and socialized.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think that we are growing in the midst of this global pandemic because we have so many men who say, I want to have healthy relationships with women in my life. I want to change. The
Hmm.
women are saying, you know what? This is not working. How I've
Yeah.
been living my life is not working. I
Hmm.
need something else. So people's spirits and souls are literally crying out. And
Yeah.
because we were ready, because we did the work when I left 8 years ago from Procter and Gamble, we're ready. And so
Yeah.
we have been ready to serve. And so that's why I tell people all the time, you may not have time to get ready. So you have to stay ready. And that's what we've done.
That's so good. And as I'm listening to you, the thing that I absolutely know is God was intentional in 2020 when
Yeah.
it allowed the pandemic to happen. And I said allow because nothing happens if God doesn't allow it. Let me keep it,
Yeah.
that's my belief, right? So
Yeah.
I take a moment of pause for anybody that's lost anybody. I'm not talking about that. What I am
Yes.
talking about is, we started 2020 talking about 2020 vision. And then when the pandemic happened, people stopped saying that. But it really
Yeah.
was. And the thing
Yeah.
that Sonia just said, I hope y'all got this, that she was already ready. See, what happened
Yeah.
in the pandemic is more of us have been alone and more of us have needed programs like the Sister Accord because it
Exactly.
grows that village for you. Many of us haven't had a village. Many of us haven't been able to connect in ways we needed to connect. So I think the pandemic has really helped us see sisterhood and brotherhood and leadership in new and different ways.
Yes, absolutely. And let me just say this. My text messages are so rich. I wish people could just see some of the things that people say. I received a text. Now, here I am getting ready to speak to you today.
Mhm.
And I received this text message from this powerful, amazing sister. And she says, I have not in the past, I've not been comfortable with complimenting women and saying I love you to women. She said, but
Mm,
you just do it so effortlessly that it's making a difference for me. And so, she gave
mm,
me some love back. Can you believe that that setup what happened right before I was getting ready
mm.
to come on with you? And it's just a reminder because we all
Yeah,
need reminders. We're going through some really challenging times.
yeah.
And I always have these conversations with God where I say, okay, am I serving your people with excellence? Am I
Mhm.
doing what you are asking me to do, what you created me to do?
Right,
And
right.
getting that text message before our time today, that really touched
Confirmation. And can I say, and I don't know if I've ever said this to you. So in 2015, look, I'm about to say something for the first time in public too.
me.
So I've been doing this 28 years. So in 2012, my company got bought out by a bigger company, and I was working in that company, and that's when I met Sonia.
Yeah.
So then God whispered, "It's time to leave." Now I'm gonna tell y'all, me leaving was no small thing because, baby, I got comfortable over there. I had to pay bills. I had to worry about any right, and God kept saying, "It's time for you to go." So literally, I didn't tell anybody. I made, I gave my notice. I started making my way out, and Sonia said, "I need to talk to you. Just text me." Now,
Yeah.
mind you, we don't talk all the time. So when Sonia texts, you gonna get on the call. So I'm wondering, what could it be? And she gets
Right.
on the phone and says to me, "I don't know if this is you're gonna receive this." I'm like, "What did she get ready to say to me?" But I
Right.
feel like it's time for you to go. Now you need to know when you made that call, Sonia almost threw the phone because it was so hard because I got so comfortable. And what God began to show me is that He needed me to pivot the way I was using my gift
Mm,
and your
mm,
obedience and her being a sister accord, hello, the first and foremost flagship of it all, and being
mm,
obedient on top of it. I was like blown away
mm.
that you would reach out.
I was
I was blown
scared
away.
too because I get these things and I'm in my prayer and meditation time and I'll text and I'm like, okay, but I don't want to say that. I don't want to do that, right? But I have learned to be obedient because it's
Yeah,
not about me. Now,
yeah,
the
yeah.
person may not receive, what I'm saying. They may or may not, but I've
Right.
done what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that's the piece that's important for me.
Yeah. And I'm sharing that now because I want you guys to get this. She's not someone that just looks good. Well, she looks good on camera too. And that's just somebody that's good on paper. She's a living, breathing example of what it means to be a sister in every
Oh,
sense of the word. What does it
wow.
mean to hold the light for someone that's coming behind you? What does it mean to really create the space so that you can live as the highest and best version of who you were created to be? So anyway, I can go on and on, but I want to make sure let's talk about the topic of sisterhood and leadership. Like, why is this so important to you?
Mhm. Yes. So, having 20 years in corporate America, and I love the world of business. I love negotiating. I loved my job and everything that I did at Ford, Gillette, and Procter and Gamble. But I was concerned about the women
Mm,
in the organization who kept saying to me, Sonia, I'm struggling. I
mm,
don't like women. I don't like working for women. Or, it was always something related to women that they would come and see me about. And my guy mentees, listen, they may not like somebody, but in the workplace, they'll still support them. They'll still help them get to the next level. Women
right.
don't do that. Like if they
Yeah.
don't like somebody, it's on and popping. And so I really wanted to use my voice and really talk about sisterhood and leadership. They go together.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and this whole notion, so many women would say, they think they got to be this man, act tough and, no, bring kindness to the workplace. Kindness
Yeah.
is not a weakness. Whoever bought
Yeah.
into that long years ago, we have to stop that.
Yeah.
Kindness is not weakness. Now, I'm not going to let you run over me, but it is okay to be kind and compassionate and use who we are naturally,
Mm-hmm.
how we're wired, and
Yeah.
bring that to the workplace to drive profitability, because you can then drive engagement where people want to come to work and people are excited about being a part of the organization.
As you're sharing that, what dropped in my spirit is something God dropped in my spirit years ago, which my book Find Your Fierce is really about. So I
Yeah,
was watching Beyonce
I
hating
love
on
that
her,
book.
right? And this is for you too, fellas. Don't think, just say ferocious, because I've tried to say fierce, and my husband's like, let me tell you, baby, ain't no man gonna say okay to that. So say ferocious, don't miss this blessing. So listen, I was watching Beyonce, and I would say I was hating on her a little bit, but I was having a full-on jealous moment. And
Mhm.
God said, you have fierce too. And what I
Wow.
realized is think about who Beyonce is standing on stage. First of all, she made a Sasha fierce because God was calling her to the next level of her gift. Okay. And in
Yeah.
order to do it, she had to conjure up this alter ego to live in all that she was created
Yes.
to be. But I want y'all to get this. What Sonia just said is so valuable. So, because Beyonce had been on stage with other women, she didn't know how to make that shift by herself.
Mm,
So the beauty of the sister accord is that you don't have to do it alone. That you
you
can
don't.
call a sister and say, "Girl, I need some help. Girl, can I talk through this with you? Girl, how did
That's
you do that?" Instead of you hating on her, because let me tell you,
that's right.
if
That's
I could
right.
sing, Beyonce would have a run on her money. That's why I was hating on her. Okay, but if I got to meet her, I would say, "Girl, show me how you did that." Because
Show
what
me.
she does, she continues to do what she outdoes her own self. So you don't
Yes,
ever have to hate on anybody. You can
that's
always
right.
say, "Show me how." And a good
That's
sister is going to light the path for you.
right.
And
Amen.
so, really, what you've done is give women permission to be
Amen.
all of who they are, and then bring
That's it.
others with you, which is
That's
such
it.
the beauty of the court. So, with
Thank
that, listen, Sonia and I can talk for the next 3 hours, y'all. But she has a gift for you. I want you to tell them about your gift.
Oh my gosh. I have so many people who will say to me, "What did you do?" And I wanted to be able to just give people something simple.
Yeah.
Life is challenging enough. And so I have a free ebook that I want you all to go and download. 7 essential steps to bring your dream to life. I mean, God is no respecter of person.
Right.
So if he did all of this for me, he will do it for you. And
Yeah.
all you have to do is be a willing vessel to say, you know what, here I am, just use me. What am I supposed to be doing? And then follow these steps. Take some notes, have a journal, and begin to write down your dreams. Please,
Mm,
if
so
you have
good.
stopped dreaming, if you have said, you know what, I can't dream, it's too painful, please just pause for a moment, get in a still, quiet place and just dream. Like, what do you desire for your life?
Mm,
And download the book. Go to soniajacksonmiles.com. The IA and the MY sometimes messes people up, but that's the spelling there, soniajacksonmiles.com. And you can download the free ebook, 7 Essential Steps to Bring Your Dream to Life.
such good, rich conversation. And here's what I want you guys to definitely know and definitely do. Understand that if the dream is in you, it's meant to happen, right? Because I
Yes.
believe that God puts the desire in our heart, and all we've got to do is be willing
Yes.
to take the action to go and get
That's
it.
right.
So thank you. As you were sharing that, what I was reminded of is it's so funny. This whole time you've been talking, every time you say something, something drops in my spirit. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. So because I think we have a spiritual connection, that's
We
what happens.
do.
But
We absolutely do.
there's a whole quote, and I don't remember all of it, but the part that I remember is when you let your light shine. This is Marion Williamson, by the way. When you
Yes.
let your light shine, you consciously give others permission to do the
The
same.
same.
So thank you
Absolutely.
for giving us, because you've done it consciously and unconsciously. Thank you for giving us permission to
Thank
literally be a village. Thank you for giving us the tools to do that. Thank you for allowing us to see inside your dream and then dare challenging us to go and get our own. I honor you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here today, girl. I
I
love you.
honor you and appreciate you. I love you. And thank you for being so kind when I was calling to share that message with you.
I was scared. I was silent because I was like, oh Lord. And then when you said it, so what's so funny is about 4 or 5 people caught me in that moment. You guys need to know God is always going to give you a dream that's bigger than what you think you can do.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
Ephesians
right.
3:20 says abundantly above all you can ask or think.
Thank
So if it's bigger
God.
than what you can ask or think, you're gonna be like, oh, am I crazy? Oh, can I do that? Oh, I don't know. So you were one of the people that was confirmation for me in a scary time when
Wow.
I wanted to be comfortable. And I had to learn your comfort and your conviction can never coexist. So am I gonna choose
Wow.
my comfort or my conviction? I was trying
That's
to
right.
choose my comfort, and then God kept sending people like you, and I was like, stop it, Lord. I'm gonna stay comfortable. So thank you for being obedient and for being my sister in this journey. I really do appreciate you.
Thank you. Love you. I'm so proud of
Love you
you.
too. Thank you. Same here, same here. So with that, look, I'm gonna stop there because she and I will go on and on and on. We could talk for the next 3 hours. So that's our episode for today. I want to challenge you. Grab her gift. Let me put it up one more time. Grab her gift. Get the 7 steps. This is the listen. Monday is the first day of November. You got 2 more months, and 2022 will be here. What will you do to move your dream forward? Now, those of you that your dream is to start a business, I have a special commercial for you. So I'll play that and then I'll come back. I got something special I've conjured up just for you. So hold on tight. I'll play that and then I'll come back and wrap up our episode. Are you a highly skilled professional and you've been seeking a path to advance your purpose? Yes, you may already be successful in your current career, and yet you have this desire to build a business that allows you to serve all those that God put you on this earth to serve so that you're making a difference and making money while you do it. And maybe you don't know where to start, or maybe you've started and you haven't yet made predictable revenue. And it seems as though it's way too hard for someone who's reached your level of success to figure this out. Well, you're the exact reason I created the free 5-day Bankroll Your Brilliance Challenge. Register and learn more by going to BankrolLyourBrillianceChallenge.com. So in 5 days, I'm going to walk you through the 5 steps to live into the freedom, fulfillment, and meaning you greatly desire, all while creating multiple streams of income from what you already know. So you may have tried so many different systems, coaching groups, and programs, and yet your efforts have not given you the clarity you need to monetize your gift. And that's exactly why I'm going to walk you through how to create the strategy that clearly articulates what you do so those that need you hear you as their answer. Oh, and they will pay you for it. Plus, I'm going to teach you my all-time favorite thing I coach my clients around, which is how to make money in your sleep. You definitely don't want to miss this. Again, register now at BankrolLyourBrillianceChallenge.com. Listen, you've been working to create someone else's billion-dollar brand when God put a billion-dollar brand in you. And all you need is the tools and strategy to go after the abundance with your name on it. I can't wait to pour it all into you. All right, so you heard me say it. Grab your seat. I look forward to serving you during the Bankroll Your Brilliance Challenge, which starts Sunday, November 7th. So with that said, y'all, that is another episode of Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays. Again, it's always my honor and privilege to pour into you. 2 things I always ask you to do at every end of every episode. Number 1, if this is giving you any value, share it. You know, there's a button here below if you're on Facebook Live or if you're watching a replay on Facebook or if you're watching a replay on YouTube. Share it with your tribe, especially around this conversation. Because imagine what this world will be like when we support each other the way that Sonia is teaching us in Sister Accord. The second thing I want you to do is listen, if any of this is valuable to you, then I want you to also follow me on Instagram. I give you tools, techniques, tips ongoing all week long. All right. And I also want to invite you back next Thursday for another episode of Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursday. So until then, have a phenomenal rest of today. I'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.